Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of the videos that we have been making. Today I thought I would do another video on making your papers work for you. And I've got an idea of a card I'd really like to make, and it utilizes one of these really small books. Now, I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not 100% sure where these are from. I picked them up as part of a craft clearance. A lovely lady was getting rid of some paper pads. I picked them up from Facebook Marketplace, and these were two that were a part of that. Now, these are small books. They're 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. You get a lot on here, and to be fair, there is still an awful lot in these. I want to say with the way that sticker looks that this is potentially from the range, but I don't think I've ever seen any this small certainly not in my local ranges. Otherwise I'd have probably picked some up because they're actually a really cute size. But what I'm going to show you, I pretty much can guarantee you'll be able to make with any size paper pads that you've got. I don't think it necessarily matters that these are small. You could take your 12 by 12s and cut them down. You could take an 8 by 8 or a 6 by 6. Whatever you have available to you, you can absolutely use. And this series, I think I've done one video so far, so this will be my second, is essentially me just taking papers that are not toppers. They do not have any form of official topper or sentiment or anything on them, and we actually turn them into your toppers. Because let's be honest, how many packs of paper do you have at home that have no toppers in them? You can't find a matching topper, and so it just sits on your shelf until you finally give in and give it away. And I just want to show you some options that you have to utilize them. You don't need a lot to be able to use them, and for this particular card I'm going to be using a 5x5 card blank because I want a little bit of a border on here. I'm also going to be using some Miri card. I think I have my little box. This is Miri card that I picked up from Hunky Dory, and I think the perfect size card is going to be probably this Rainbow Miri. Yeah, because we can cut that down. We can absolutely cut that down. So this is the Rainbow Miri that matches the square little book offs, and we're going to be able to chop off the excess, no problem. And then I guess really just add some sort of sentiment on here, and you can use lots of different things. You can use some sentiments that you've maybe got spare from other paper projects. Maybe you've got some packs of sentiments that you haven't used before. You could stamp them. What I think I'm gonna do is possibly, I think I'm gonna use one of these. So for anybody who's been following me, I had misplaced this, couldn't find it anywhere. I was really worried because there's quite a lot of sentiments on here and I absolutely love them. I found it when I emptied my office. If you haven't already seen those videos, again, head over to my channel. There's lots of different videos on there. I'm not 100% sure which sentiment I'm going to use, but I'm definitely going to use one of those. So I'm going to grab my cutting plates, my mini cutting machine, and my little glue. I'm going to get my low tack tape because I may need that. And I'm going to use my ATG as well. I knew there was something that I had forgotten. I'm going to use my ATG. So, first thing I'm going to do is pick out the paper that I want to use. And off the bat, I can see from the front that there's a couple I really like. That one's quite pretty, very busy. so's that one. So there's 2 in that one I really like. Oh, that one's stunning. I think that's going to be my winner just there, guys. There are lots of very pretty papers in here. Oops. As I say, these ones were secondhand, so there are some used papers in here. I think I'm going to go for that one. I think that's a really pretty paper. So I'm going to pop those to one side. And this is going to be like so quick and easy. I'm going to take my ATG and just as it is, I'm going to attach it to my Miri board. Flip that over, I'll just take off a bit that ran over. It's very fine paper, this one, so on the ATG it can be quite delicate. So I'm going to take my Miri board, attempt to unstick myself, and I'm just going to attach this onto here, and then I'm going to trim it. I want to trim off the excess. So I'm going to bring in my cutter, move everything up so you can see a little bit better, and I'm just going to trim around the edges. I'm not taking too much off. I just want a really nice little border to help show off that beautiful paper. And you don't have to use Miri board. I like it. But if you have like any, maybe you use glitter cardstock, or you could use either a matching or contrasting coloured backing paper. You can use anything, but what we're trying to do is make sure that that paper is what people really look at. So we've got that so far. I'm going to move out those little scrap pieces. I'm going to take out my card blank. So if you was working with a smaller piece, or if you was working with a larger card blank, I don't know if I've got any, you could actually pop this that way on. That would look quite pretty, and you can add some further coloured accents to that. I am only working with a 5x5, so I'm going to leave it as it is, just like that. That's so beautiful. Bring back my ATG. And then if it's a directional print, I would work out which direction to put it in. This is kind of non-directional. We've still got butterflies going everywhere, but we have most of the butterflies the right way if I stick this on my card this direction. So that is the way I'm going to go with this one. There we go. So that is our card so far. And then I might just go with the With Love. So I'm going to pop this off. This is one where it has the shadow in, so you can use that, you don't have to. And what I'm actually going to do for this is I'm going to have a look through my scrap box, because I have a really big stash try not to catch it of scrap pieces in here that I think might work with this. Let me have a look. that piece isn't quite big enough. There's my dies on. Here we go. I do want to make sure I get a matching piece of Miri board. So if I don't have a piece of this rainbow that's big enough, I will just grab a fresh piece of that. I think most of these are going to be plain silver or gold. But I do have some beautiful coloured pieces of cardstock here. I think I'm going to go for that pink just to play on these beautiful pink splashes. So that is going to be the colour of my sentiment. So let me just trim a piece of this off. Just like that. And then I have some little pieces of Rainbow Miri. Oops. I say as I drop them on the floor. So this is just a smaller piece, it's not like a full one. So I'll use this to cut out my shadow effect. There we go. I'll pop those back into my scrap box along with all these other pieces that fell out. Bring in my little die cutting machine. I use the Sizzix Sidekick for at least these smaller projects. I do have a Todd out as well for my bigger ones, but for my smaller ones I always use this. And I can get both of my dies to fit on that one, so I'm going to pop them both through at the same time. They're a matching set, they're exactly the same thickness, so I might as well just do it in one pass. Pass through there, pop my die cutting machine out the way a minute, pop this off here. So I use a pair of really sharp tweezers, and for anybody who's a regular, you'll be surprised, or at least I was very, very surprised. It would appear I have two pairs of tweezers the same. Who knew? I definitely didn't, but I found them while I was sorting out my office. Let's pop this out here. So that's come out quite nice and clean from that die. Just going to pop out all these intricate pieces. These dies are absolutely beautiful. They are from Paper Boutique. I get them from Creative Crafting World. I've got mine from some Lucky Dip special offers that they had, and I didn't know what I was getting, and they sent so many sets of dies for a certain price. I think it was 13 die sets for £30. I think it was like a mega offer that they had on, and this was one of the dies that I got. So there's my gorgeous sentiment, there is my shadow. Take my little pot of glue and I'm just going to glue this on here. Apart from it seems I have a clog, so let me grab out. I've actually got some glue pens. I'll just use one of these. Ooh, I nearly forgot that little bit. Oh dear. Pop that out. Caught it before I glued it, which is always good. So we're going to try this again now that I know that I don't have any additional pieces. So these are a set of glue pens. I just picked them up from Amazon, and in all honesty they've been pretty good. Nothing fancy. Make sure it's running through. The only thing I will say is that it doesn't dry clear, so just make sure you only put on as much as you need if you're using these. They work a little bit like the Tipp-Ex pens, if anybody remembers them. Maybe they still make them. Where if you press down, it like pulls through the glue. Lift the pen up and the light ball bearing goes back down and blocks it. Just make sure I've got that bottom actually as well. Then I am going to use a set of tweezers just to pick that up. Lie that on there. And then, oops. Just going to pop some weight on, just so that it has time to really stick on there. They're not tacky glue, so they're not quite like the white glue that I normally use. That would normally grip straight away, but I have used these a couple of times in my video. They have been pretty good. Let's just hope they're still good. So there we go. And then I'm just going to grab a cloth. So I've just grabbed a cloth. And I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but sometimes when you've glued, especially onto like this mirror, if it sort of squeezes out the side, you can see it on the mirror board. And I try to just clean it up a little bit. But obviously I don't want to damage it, so I don't want to go using my nails. Oh, I might be shaking you actually, or anything like that. But if you just use a little cloth, you can sometimes remove it. You can't always get rid of all of it, but I like to at least try and get rid of some of it. If I can do so without damaging it, even better, because otherwise you're left just remaking it, aren't you? There we go. Just looks a bit cleaner. Right, there we go. That's looking better. And then all I'm going to do is take this sentiment and attach it to the front of my card. I'm going to grab some foam pads, because I think I would like to lift this up ever so slightly. Put one on there, one on there, then I've got more guys, they're just here. I'll take this one. I'm just going to cut this one in half, like so. Pop a piece there, pop a piece up there. I don't like these foam pads at all, guys. Still using those ones that I picked up from the Pound World. Put that on there. Just coming apart a little bit on the bottom. I'll go back in and re-glue that. And that is our little card for today. I'm going to go back in and add a little bit extra glue in that bottom. It just seems to have lifted a little bit. It's better. But yeah, that's today's card. I think that's a really good way of using up some of your card and paper scraps, or It's definitely good for those like busy papers that are sometimes too pretty and too busy to put as a background underneath something, but actually on their own they make a gorgeous topper. And you can embellish this even further with like rhinestones and things. But yeah, I really like that. I hope you've enjoyed this and it's given you some inspiration to get your crafting out. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye for now.